So yeah, when you first took the job, what was the first kind of order of business that you wanted to get taken care of way back when you kind of first took over?
I think the first thing that you always want to do is you want to take care of your players. Yep. You know, the players already existing in the program. First thing I did was at a team meeting and let them know that, you know, they didn't pick me, but I picked them. I think that's really important for them to understand. I've had 3 head coaches in 3 years for some of them. I know it's hard. Change is hard. Transition's hard. But life's hard. They're going to figure that out real quick as they continue to move forward. But I think that that was one of the first things I wanted to do. Second thing was I want to make sure our players stick around our facility. So we did some things here and there that got them around our facility more and drew them back in to being around us a lot more than they were used to.
Mm-hmm. When you're out on the road now, you're recruiting and stuff like that. What's your basic message to the guys that you're kind of pulling into your program? Because it's new for everybody. They don't know anything yet.
Yeah, the great thing, I get asked that question a lot. For us, we're us. Mm-hmm. You know, we get to, Mark Coyle, I think, is one of the best athletic directors in the country because he allows his coaches to be themselves. There's not everybody in the country that allow you to be yourself, right? And that was one of the reasons why I came here, because Kathy Beauregard at Western Michigan allowed me to be myself, and Mark Coyle allowed me to be myself. And I think that's really, really important. And so I think going around and spreading messages, it's not just about one message, but we are here to win championships eventually. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people take my energy and they mistake it for promise now. When you haven't won a championship in over 50 years, there's got to be a championship culture rebuilt. Okay, and I'm not saying that, again, that's a different way of connecting people, different way of thinking, belief systems, changing the way we think, going from we couldn't, we shouldn't, we haven't, or hey, well, don't worry, we'll find a way to screw it up, to we will, we can, we are, and it's only a matter of time. We've got to change everybody's perceptions and belief systems. That's the hardest part about this whole thing. So I think when we go out there and we recruit, we want championship people. And you got to inherit, and you've got to be able to develop championship people within your program, but then you got to go out and recruit championship people. I didn't say players, championship people first, and that's what we're going to be able to do.
Go ahead.
Talent on the team then, as it is now. What are you thinking about for the season ahead?
Well, the big thing is we've only had 15 practices with our players, so I've only seen them 15 times. We had 22 off-season surgeries, so a lot of those guys are starters. So I've never even seen them play live. We're going to be doing, usually when you get to training camp, the evaluation period's over, and now it's really development. We're still going to be mixing evaluation with development, which is very difficult to do in year one. Year one's always the hardest year. It's just because everything our players do is for the first time. Whether that's winter conditioning, summer conditioning, training camp, spring ball, it's all new to them. Our offense, our defense, our special teams are all new. So in year one, the hardest part of that is you don't master anything. You can learn it and you can become good at it, but mastering it rarely ever happens in year one. So we're going to be as good as we possibly can be, and we'll see where that ends up being.
That idea of having to design practice, so you talk about all those surgeries, is that something that you came up with? Is that something that you learned, in past coaching experience?
Well, you take everything that you learn. I've never seen anything like it. I've never had 4 linemen ever for spring practice, ever. Never seen it, never been around it. Don't know why it's here, because there's only 8 total linemen on the roster. So my point of that is, though, you have to be creative as a head coach, and because practice is going to happen, you just have to find ways to be able to create to have practice happen. For us, it was 7-on-7 scrimmages and different things I've never done before, but you have to find a way, and that's what that's why you're the head football coach. You have to find the solutions to the problems, and that's what you kind of do. So we were able to do that.
Having been at a mid-major like Western Michigan, do you feel like that sort of that mid-major mentality, that approach, that energy as a coach has kind of helped you being here on the bigger level and trying to go around and convince everybody that you're here to win, and that really this persona that you give off is authentic?
Well, I'm not sure the whole authentic thing being brought off real, not real. I'm just me. The one thing about me is I am just me. So people, what you see is what you get. The more times you're around me, the more you'll see it's just who I am. I think it can kind of take people by, I can shock people at times, like, wow, that's really intense. I wonder if he's like that all the time. And anybody's more welcome to spend some time around me, and they'll kind of see that that's real. The mid-major part is, I think it's just the places that attract me are the places that need something. They're missing something, right? And that's what I've always done my entire life. If you look back to my playing career, my coaching career, every stop besides Ohio State that I've been at had to be rebuilt, had to be then sustained, or possibly rebuilt again, and to accomplish things we've never done before. That's my background, and I don't think it's just Group of 5. It's just wherever I've been, but it does give you that crack on the shoulder, and that's why I came to Minnesota, because it fits my personality, it fits our culture, it fits our characteristics of not having something that we've always dreamed of having.
How fast would I have to run to keep up with you, to spend more time with you?
I'm not sure how fast you'd have to run. You just have to be able to run a lot.
Okay.
So endurance. Yeah.
Okay.
You got to go for muscular endurance right now, not the strength part or the quickness or the twitch. The endurance part, that's the one you have to train for.
So you've kind of been recruiting all over the country, obviously. I'm curious as to what you kind of think the talent level in Minnesota is in the short time you've been here.
Well, we have 3 kids committed for 2018 already, which says a lot about the state.
There's some diamonds in the rough around here, really.
There is, and where you find the diamonds in the rough, in my opinion, is live evaluations and camp. We have 6 camps that are on our own campus, and we travel around to different camps in different states. But it's really big for those players to get to our camp. I was a diamond in the rough. I went to one camp, and got 1 scholarship offer. That's all it takes. It takes 1 coach to fall in love with you, not just you as a player, but you as a person, and know you're part of our culture. Doesn't mean I'm going to be able to take every player in the state of Minnesota, but we started this whole thing with Minnesota players. Remember, our first commitment was a Minnesota player for 2018. So we're going to continue to do that. But again, it's still got to be a level of, okay, you're definitely a Division I player, and you definitely fit our scheme, our culture of what we do, because there's some guys in Minnesota that might not fit our systems. We're not just going to take the guy just to take the guy. You got to still be able to fit our systems and what we do. But I'm very, very proud and very happy of Minnesota football, and we'll be recruiting it a lot.
There are guys on the roster from all over the country. Is there a part of the country that you like, or do you want to stay in your own backyard? Or?
Yeah, I think if you look back of what we said, even at Western Michigan, right, the 6-hour radius around Kalamazoo, we held true to that for the most part. 80% of the recruits we brought in, I would say, are probably from around there. If you start to see what I said here, we're going to do about a 7 to 8 hour radius, right, of the Twin Cities, and then we were going to hit Atlanta, we were going to hit Dallas, we were going to hit New Jersey, Ohio, and I think we've stayed true to that. Yep. So for us, that's where our niche is. We know a lot of people, we have a lot of connections, and you don't need to be on a global scale. Now, if there's some kid that fits everything and he happens to be in California, we're going to recruit him. But it's not like we're focusing over there. We're focusing in the areas that we know best.
We get time for one more, guys.
Okay, yeah, you got it.
I'm good.
Maybe just a word about Andrew Stelter with the Owatonna connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did we miss that?
I was waiting for that one.
Thanks, Roy.
Andrew has been absolutely tremendous since I've been the head football coach. I mean, you talk about a hard worker, you talk about a row the boat type cultural guy. He has been everything that I could imagine of walking into this culture, to be able to have a guy to be able to conform to our culture. I mean, he's a perfect mix. He's really led really well. It's very hard for him. He's one of those guys, you've had 3 head coaches in 3 years, and you've had 3 cultures kind of spun on you, and you've been through a lot of adversity too. I mean, with whether it's health issues or whether it's the things that happened a year ago, he's had to deal with a lot of things. So for him to be able to do what he's done and to make it through there and now become a stronger man, that's what life's all about. I'm really proud of him. He's going to play a lot of football for us, and I'm proud of the leadership he showed in a short amount of time.
Thank you, Coach.